Welcome to the Club Talk Podcast, brought to you by GolfPay, where customer experience is the product. Now on with our show.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dale Merritt. I'm the CEO of GolfPay out of Scottsdale, Arizona. Thanks for joining me today. So this is a podcast episode. It's going to focus on the consumer, on the golfer, how the golfer does business today, how they want to do business, the technology they have access to, how operators can leverage that technology to increase their own business. So typically these episodes are going to focus more on tips for operators on what they can do to drive more business, and very specifically how technology can be used to do that. And of course, technology and golf course operators are really an oil and water relationship, I think, in many cases. And I think that's actually one of the biggest problems the industry faces is the golf course operators in a lot of cases still operate their business based on how things were many years ago. They might make little incremental changes, but if it affects their operations whatsoever, they typically bail out on that idea. And I think that's a huge mistake, at least to go to the extent of at least researching more about what consumers are doing right now, let's say other industries and other verticals. So today's podcast, I'm going to be interviewing John Brown, and I'm going to be calling him on the phone a little bit. So John is the CEO of Brown Golf Management Group, and he owns a number of golf courses around the country, mostly on the East Coast. So he owns, operates, and manages golf courses. So he comes from a perspective comes from that perspective, or a couple different perspectives, really, as the CEO of a management company and also an operator. So he's also a younger guy, and I think that's a combination that's worthy of having this type of podcast involving John, because he brings something to the table that a lot of golf course operators do not. I mean, he probably looks at things through a prism that is different than, let's say, somebody that's 20 years older than him. I won't get into his age because honestly, I don't know. I just know he's a very young guy. But so we're going to be calling him in a little bit. But the way GolfPay looks at the golf industry is what is broken there that we have tried to solve. So what we see as broken is really that path from the golfer initiating contact with the course and doing it in a way that is frictionless, that provides a very high level of customer experience, and provides an online experience that is, let's say, up to par with other things that they do as it relates to doing business with, let's say, Amazon or any of the big popular online tools or services that a consumer has access to make their life more convenient and better every day. And we see that path is broken. So what GolfPay is we're an omni-channel golf communication platform that has made it easier for golfers to stay in touch with golf courses and vice versa. It's a two-way street. I don't think we can look at that communication as a one-way, communication point anymore. It needs to be two-way, and we've created a platform that allows golfers to do business how they want to do business, but also from the operation standpoint of the golf course, it allows them, for the most part, to kind of keep everything the same, and everything is done more or less the same way as it is, but providing the golfers just a better online experience, more options to do things like book tee times, purchase products out of the pro shop, check in for their tee times. A lot of things that GolfPay does, and over the time we'll definitely get into that, and we can provide information to you at the end of this podcast, so you can contact us about that. But we're going to contact John Brown, and again, we're going to focus mostly on the consumer, the golfer, get his perspective on how things have changed and what they're doing to align themselves with these changes so they can tap into that as a real opportunity and a place to drive more business and more profit. So we're going to go ahead and call John, and looking forward to talking to him.
Okay, hello. So to today's podcast, I've got John Brown on the phone with me. John is the CEO of Brown Golf Management Group. John owns, operates, and manages golf courses around the country, primarily along the East Coast, and he's kindly agreed to come on with me and provide his insights about the state of the golf industry. So, hey, John, how are you?
I'm doing excellent. How are you, Dale?
Doing great. Doing great. Thanks for coming on with me. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure.
I would be remiss if I didn't ask you a little bit about how that tournament ended at Augusta, the Masters. What do you think about Tiger Woods?
What a fantastic last day. I mean, you can't beat what we saw yesterday. I mean, just the drama, the emotions. It was fantastic.
Is that going to increase business, John?
It already did. I mean, the fact that the Masters was in the morning, which obviously is unique for the Masters, all of our driving ranges were full about 4 o'clock. So it already did.
I mean, I was all geeked up when I saw that. I wanted to go out and play golf myself. So obviously Tiger's great for golf, and that was wonderful to see. So I want to get into a little bit about what this podcast is about. So the podcast is about how operators are adapting to the modern consumer. So we're going to focus on the golfer. And obviously a golfer is a consumer. So there's, certain trends going on out there. And, we've spoke in the past about, that golf operators in general are a little behind the times. But I wanted to kind of tap into your knowledge and get into this a little bit. So from your perspective, how tech savvy is today's golfer, and how are you aligning what you're doing with that?
Absolutely. Be happy to speak on that. Well, we have 28 golf courses, Dale, and of those 28, 2 are private clubs, and 26 are either a hybrids or daily fee or semi-private golf facilities. So there's really a need for us to be able to reach our customer base, understand who our customers are, and communicate with our customers and give them platforms that they'd like to book tee times. And the bottom line is the phone is an instrument of communication for everyone, well outside of making calls, and just the technology advances in recent times by companies like yours of collecting data and being able to book tee times via text message make it very easy for customers to book quickly, and to do it without having to pick up the phone and actually call somebody. So the importance and the focus for us on that instrument has been tremendous over the past 12 months or so, and we continue to see more and more tee times being booked via text message every month.
Operators obviously tend to vary in different age groups, but I mean, obviously you're a pretty young guy. So you probably look at things a little bit differently than some other operators. I think that gives you a big advantage in helping to support operators. So if we can regress a little bit maybe and get into what is your background, if you don't mind.
Sure, absolutely. I've grown up around the golf business my entire life. My father was a head golf professional. I've worked at golf facilities since I was a young child and picked up a lot of, just a lot about the industry through osmosis, being around it. And it's been a passion of mine. I played college golf, and when I entered the workforce, it was fairly natural for me to enter the golf management arena. We started our company, Brown Golf, in January of 2011, so we're in our 9th year now of business. And before that, I spent 7 years with Troon Golf. And, my background as far as golf with those two companies, but spent a lot of time just in the Northeast private club world as well, just working as, a bag boy, worked behind counters, worked in accounting offices, and then just really have seen the industry come full circle in the last 20 years or so.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've been with you were with Troon, I believe, right?
Correct?
Did you just say that?
Yes.
Okay. So, when you add your years up, I believe it's around 15 years, as far as working with golf course management companies. So there's a lot that has changed since then. The iPhone wasn't even around back then. Everything now is really revolves around the mobile phone. And, the average person stays on the mobile phone, whether it's checking email or text messages or whatever, over 4 hours per day. And that's about the time that someone spends on the golf course. So obviously there's some time being displaced. It makes a lot of sense to be able to connect to golfers in as many ways possible through that mobile phone. And I've always been impressed with how quickly your team picks up on that and focuses on that. So kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
You bring up customer data when we talk. That seems to be a big, huge focus point for you guys. And I can get into the reasons why we feel it's important, but I would like to get your perspective on why customer data is so important.
I think customer data is at the crux of the most important issue in the golf industry for operators. The reason I believe that is, I think we've taken, for lack of a better word, a little bit of a lazy approach in filling our tee sheets and relying on, third-party tee time distribution companies to fill our tee sheets for us. And we really need to put that onus on our golf courses and our operators. The best customer that we could possibly speak with in any marketing capacity is the person that has been at our checkout counter and has played our golf course. And so many times golf operators check that person in, send them off to play their round of golf, but have zero ability to communicate with that customer after the fact. And we just think that's not the right way to do business. It's not the right way to control your customer data, understand your customer's needs, and frankly, continue to market and speak to your customers. So every single month, our company takes the approach that we want to grow our reach channels. We want to continue to market to those reach channels. And we want those customers that are playing our golf courses to become loyal to our clubs and not to other platforms for booking tee times.
So let's get into that a little bit. So do you have any specific strategies that you use that's worked for you that you care to share to help empower your operators to get more business direct versus going through third parties? Because it's attractive for golfers, to look for discounts. So how do you go about doing that?
Sure. We take an approach that's similar to how customers buy in other major arenas, whether it's Amazon or Hotwire.com or Hotels.com, whatever it may be. There's really two things customers are looking for. They're looking for the best price, and they're looking for convenience. And that's really the focus of what Brown Golf does, and our partnership with GolfPay obviously helps us assist in that strategy, which is, we want to offer the best price to our customers, to our golfers, whether they're calling our golf shop or going to our website, but we also want to offer the most convenient platforms for booking tee times, with which our partnership with GolfPay has allowed through our text message technology bookings, through our web chat bookings, through our internal voice recognition bookings, all different technology applications that allow us to collect customer data and allow the customer to book tee times very easily. It's easy. It's simple for us. It's best price, convenience. It's what we market. It's what we promote. And it's what, our company's about when it comes to tee sheet management.
We've done some studies on this, and obviously there's always going to be, the guy that sits on their computer waiting for one of those trade times to open up at maybe one of their favorite courses, if they're lucky enough to catch that. So there's always going to be discount seekers. But what's really been exciting for us is to see how attractive convenience is more and more and more to consumers and golfers. So, well, they may if everything is equal, they're definitely going to go down the track of convenience. And if it's more convenient to do business direct, they're going to go that route because they already prefer to do that. I mean, everyone likes to go direct when they can. But obviously, if it's not very convenient, then the third party sometimes becomes appealing to that golfer. So by really making that customer experience, like you said, once they get to the course, really solid and provide a lot of convenience from the standpoint of communication and booking, that's going to really pay dividends, I think, in terms of your previous answer about customer data, generating a lot of customer data, and obviously higher green fees overall. Hey, the last thing I want to get into a little bit about your company and Brown Management. Tell us about Brown Golf Management and how you're different than, let's say, other management companies out there. How do you differentiate yourself?
I think our company is a creative golf company. What I mean by that is we were born kind of out of a different inception than most of the other management companies out there. And what I mean by that is in January 2011, we had the opportunity to branch off with some venture capital money and go out and purchase golf facilities and then start to operate them and own the cash flow of that facility. So whether they made money or lost money. And because of the nature of how we started as a company, it wired us a certain way. And profitability and understanding your average dollar per round, understanding your rate channels became essential. We wanted to maximize those areas. And at the end of the day, if a golf course is not able to self-sustain, meaning able to make enough top-line revenues, able to reinvest back in itself, something bad's going to happen to that course. Whether it's it's going to drop its pricing to a point that it doesn't make enough money to self-sustain, whether it's going to start spending less on the conditioning of the golf course, whatever it may be. If a golf course can't self-sustain, something bad will inevitably happen to that golf course. And we just fly in the face of being willing to just manage facilities without thinking about it from an owner's perspective. It's vitally important that golf operators focus on cash flow and that golf operators focus on profit margin. And our portfolio as constructed today, we have 28 golf courses, 20 facilities. Half of those facilities are vested facilities where we have a financial interest in and own the cash flow. Half are third-party management. But there is no difference between a third-party managed facility and a Brown Golf vested facility. And my goal is, okay, how do I create an environment where I can grab the customer's information, make it easy for them to continue to come out and play our golf courses, give them wonderful conditions, wonderful service while they're there, and then be able to remarket that to that customer. And that is our focus. So we do that in all areas of our business. But, just to give an example of, how I look at our interaction with the customer. If a customer can quickly hop on their mobile phone, attach a credit card to some of our technology, book a tee time, mobily check in, not even have to come into our golf shop and go right out to the first tee, have beverage cart service in great conditions while they're out on the golf course, and they can leave quickly at the end of the round, and then we can remarket to that customer in the future because we collected their customer information. I think it's been a great transaction for both sides, and that's really what our focus is.
Yeah, that's excellent. I mean, obviously we've had a relationship since before the beginning of the year. I believe was it last year?
Yeah,
Is that when we started with you guys? How many golf courses do you have on our platform now?
Probably 16 of the 20 facilities, and we'll add the other 4 at this point.
Yeah, we've always been pretty impressed with your team. The way we look at management companies is we believe it's almost imperative for operators to align themselves up with a management company. And when I started in this business, I never would expect to have that thought process. But I believe there's such a gap between where operators are in terms of mindset of where the consumer really is. The consumer is so far ahead technology-wise, and I think that divide is only getting bigger, and that is the biggest problem the way we look at it in the golf industry. Is there's such a huge divide where a management company that's more forward thinking like Brown that can come in and bring them up to speed rather quickly and start to fill in that gap. So we really appreciate the opportunity of working with you, and I appreciate your time today. And thanks for being on with me.
Dale, it's been my pleasure. If I could just expand on the management company information there, the one thing I do think that management companies can do is interpret all the data for golf course owners. And that's really important for a golf course owner to understand what's happening at their facility level and to really take that information and make the right decisions as the owner of a golf course. And the way I would do that if I owned a golf course is I'd put my club out for RFP. I'd meet with 5 to 6 companies, narrow it down, figure out which company I trust and which company I felt like could provide the best data and I could partner with. And I think that's the best way for a golf course owner to move forward. And our relationship with GolfPay has been excellent to date. I first met you, 18 months ago or so, and I was really impressed by the technology leaps you had made so far. And since then, every single day, you start to give me more information about what your company's doing, and it's only going to make our company better. So I appreciate the relationship.
All right. Kudos to you. Appreciate the time today. And John, thank you. And we'll talk soon, okay?
Thanks, Dale.
Appreciate you.